I got to know her real well. I mean, you have a certain perception of flight attendants. I mean, I don't know about you, but I did, and I don't think I'm that kind of a person. But it was interesting because the first thing I saw was the news footage after the plane had landed, and you see Michelle Honda, and she's very capable and doing unbelievable things.
Yeah, this again is the plane over Hawaii.
Yes,
that
the airliner.
Lost its top, or a good portion of it.
Right, and then I flew up to meet her in San Francisco, and here I meet a very vivacious, very warm, very sensual kind of girl. I mean, and you realize how if you just looked at her, you would never perceive what depth and character this woman had to be able to do what she did. And it just made me start thinking about, you know, looking at people, you know, deeper.
That changed the way you now, like when you're on a plane, are you a little...
I try to be. You know, I mean, it's gotten to where, for me, flying, unfortunately, is no longer enjoyable often. I mean, it's like you get on a plane and, I mean, you basically have to carry your own seat on. I mean, nobody's gonna help you hang your carry-on bag or anything. And so you develop a certain attitude, and Michelle helped me to realize that their primary function is safety, not service. And, you know, an umbrella, for example, they're trying not to get people to carry on luggage anymore because an umbrella, you know, with high wind factor can be like a missile going through you. Yeah. So I think it would be nice for us to develop a new relationship with flight attendants, and you know, maybe if our attitudes changed, their attitudes would change as well.
Yeah. If I could get my luggage to come to the same city, I'd carry less on. That's
true.
I've had a few problems with it,
True.
but it's tough. They have a tough job. Yeah. Have you ever had any close calls or problems, a bad flight?
Well, it was interesting, actually. On the way, I just came from New York, and I was flying, and I'm much more aware of, you know, air safety now, especially after doing the film, so I always have my safety belt on at all times now. And I was just casually looking out the window, and I noticed that there's an airplane, like, right next to us. And I don't want to say anything to the gentleman who's sitting next to me because he's like a president of a corporation. I figure he's going to think I'm being silly. So,
when you say right next, you mean?
Right next to us.
Right next to you.
And I realized it's getting closer, and so I casually lean over to the man and I say, does that look normal to you, or am I just being silly? And he said no, and he called a flight attendant over, and he was quite concerned, and the flight attendant said, I think I'll go talk to the captain. And, you know, I mean, the captain could be having a bad day, you know, you just don't know. So at that point, the airplane dropped, we dropped, and that went, you know, went higher, but it's, you know, you just, I wish that, you know, they were getting paid more to fly these planes, and, you know.
It was nice of you to point that out to them, though.
Yeah, really.
Take an interest in your flight. I think that's a good thing to do. Now, don't just be a passive passenger. We have a clip from the film, and it's a very realistic portrayal of what happened, isn't it? The movie itself.
Well, I think that the special effects in this film are quite good. I think if you turn it on, you're not going to turn it off. I think it's a solid piece of work all the way through. Yeah. And
what are we going to see here?
I haven't seen the clip, but I think it's actually after the top has blown off and passengers are panicking, and Michelle Honda is trying to calm them down.
Okay, let's take a look at this film with Ana-Alicia. That's heart-stopping. It's called Miracle Landing. It airs
this Sunday after Murder, She Wrote. And I think, as you know, what these people did was just amazing.
And I think most people know that no passenger lost a life.
No passenger didn't. And Michelle Honda really went far beyond. I mean, the rule book said at that point for her to sit down and buckle her safety belt. and she just went I mean, that's when you appreciate what they're there to do, is to protect us.
We have just a few seconds, and you can be back a little bit later, but I know you're very excited about a film you did that's coming out on video, and it kind of gives people a second chance if they didn't get to see it
Yes, it's
first time.
Romero starring Raul Julia, and it comes out March 13th, and it's real important with what just happened in El Salvador with the 6 Jesuits being killed and President Cristiani admitting military involvement. I think it's a very important film, and Raul is wonderful in it.
Yeah, he's a terrific actor,
Yeah.
and you're pretty terrific yourself.
Oh,
Nice to
thank
see you
you.
again, Ana-Alicia.
Thank you
We'll see
very
you a little bit
much.
later in the
Thank
show,
you.
and we'll take a break and be right back.